With the Stringjoy Show, I am Ryan. When I started doing demos in the dark a couple of years ago, I made no secret about the fact that fuzz is my favorite effect. I am a fuzz fanatic. It is still my favorite effect. And when I put it out there, the fuzzes started rolling in. So I think it's fair to say that I have a pretty good grasp on the modern fuzz market. And Scott and I were talking about how a lot of modern fuzzes are built off of earlier fuzzes, kind of like a lot of amps are built off of the basic framework of the Fender Bassman. There are a lot of modern fuzzes that are built off of older fuzzes. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go back and look at some of those circuits that have been manipulated and changed over the years and remember what they were like in their most basic form. Start from the beginning. Roger Meyer develops the FZ1 fuzz tone, the Maestro fuzz tone. World changes. I've talked to a few builder friends about why you don't see many FZ1s out there, and it's because they're hard to tune, is what I'm understanding, and also that they require AA batteries to run. So what happened in 1965 was the tone bender was introduced. It was a 3-transistor fuzz, but what's important about the tone bender was it was the first 9-volt pedal ever, and that became the standard for everything that we do today. There have been a ton of different reimaginations and reiterations of the tone bender circuit over the past 50 years. It is pretty unimaginable. The one that I grabbed here and the one that I have in my collection is the twin bender from Ramble Effects. He tackled the version 1.5 as well as the 2, and while he did put in some of his own spins on it here, you can set everything to stock as I have here, and it's a really, really realistic tone bender version. So we jump ahead to 1966 when one of the most iconic fuzz pedals was made, the Dallas Arbiter fuzz face. It came in this circular enclosure. You've seen it. It was used by Jimi Hendrix. It was used by everybody. Circuit-wise, the Dallas Arbiter fuzz face was not very much different than the Tone Bender 1.5, which we actually just tried out there. What I have here is a Analog Man Sun Face, which is a really, really good representation of the original fuzz face. If that's something that you are looking into, Analog Mike, he's got it down. 1969, Mike Matthews and Bob Meyer developed what is probably the most cloned pedal maybe ever, and that is the Big Muff. And there have been several versions of the Big Muff alone. And if you really want to dive into that history, there are a couple of people who are ready to do it with you. Ren and Cuff is really good. That guy has gone in and out of that circuit all backwards and forwards, and he knows everything that there is to know about the Big Muff. And I have one of his caprids here, and this is a far less forgiving fuzz. The characteristic of this fuzz is that it's going to hit you with a wall of very, very saturated sound. The EQ is very noticeable. It's a very scooped EQ, so the mids are taken out, and you're just kind of engulfed in this sound. And you notice on the previous fuzzes, if I rolled back the volume, it cleaned up. It sounded like an overdrive at some points. And this will not do that for you. But man, it is such a satisfying experience. Final one here started popping up a few years ago, and now I just cannot get away from it. And it's a little known pedal from the 70s made in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. It was the Interfax HP1 harmonic percolator. Very interesting sounding fuzz pedal, one that Steve Albini brought into kind of fame and infamy. And lots and lots of different builders have taken a stab at it. The one that I have here is the Spruce Effects Custom Shop Harmonic Fuzz, and I have it in the stock setting. And I'll say that the first one that I got in a couple of years ago, I didn't exactly get it, and I didn't really like it. But after a few years, I really started to develop a taste for it, and I understand why people enjoy it. Just a brief look at, I guess, kind of the home bases of some of the fuzzes that we see in today's market. And granted, not all of them, not even close, but you know, a lot of them come from these basic topologies. And some of them start there and turn into something wildly and completely different. You can barely call it a tone bender anymore, but it started as a tone bender. And same with the big muff. A lot of those really, really heavy pedals started as a big muff and then just added on and changed and tweaked and did all of that kind of stuff. But if you are interested in the original, closest to the original designs that you can get on the market today, I think the ones that I highlighted here are really, really good if you want to kind of get back to the old home cooking on the fuzz pedals. So until next time, I will see you when I see you.